The Natural's Descent is a puzzle action-adventure game set in a vast desert with strange, physics-defying underground caverns. These caverns hold a valuable resource that cures any disease, but surviving them is tough. Powerful families have built fortresses above the caves to exploit this resource. You will play as Yara, whose brother falls ill at the start of the game. You must now raid these fortresses and steal enough of the resource to save your brother. The player can use a hoverboard to explore the desert and gather resources like ammo for later use. The fortress entrances to the caves are heavily guarded, so you'll have a revolver, a sword, and a sledgehammer at your disposal to fight your way through. Inside the caverns, turrets will shoot on sight. You must avoid them and solve puzzles to progress. The caves will shift and morph around you with each puzzle you solve. Solve enough puzzles and you'll reach the treasure room. In the end, Yara's friend Adric, who you meet at the start of the game, will question the morality of your quest and try to stop you, leading to a tough decision you'll have to make. We implemented a socket-based wave function collapse algorithm to procedurally generate the caverns. To do this, we modeled 4 possible pieces in Blender and defined sockets for each side of each piece. Initially, every cell in the grid has full entropy, meaning they can be any available tile. The algorithm works by selecting and collapsing a cell with the smallest entropy, then propagating the chosen tile, reducing the entropy of the remaining tiles based on socket compatibility. This process is repeated until every grid cell is collapsed. We also use a flooding algorithm to find the biggest connected area in the grid and spawn the player inside it. What you just saw is a visualization of the core algorithm being executed. In the final game, we modified the algorithm to also handle the lighting and randomly spawn turrets and puzzles. The outposts are also procedurally generated from pre-built pieces. We spawn these pieces from a given initial position and then spawn the obstacles and guards before baking the nav mesh. The hoverboard physics were inspired by the Hook physics model, where every corner of the board acts like a string, with the point of equilibrium staying a little above ground. The 3D models of the 3 characters and the hoverboard were also made from scratch in Blender, with the character animations being taken from Mixamo. Also, for part of the initial cutscene, we used images made from shots of the game in Photoshop, and the UI was also drawn in Photoshop. The red essence that is watching over the treasure was made with shader graph by applying a sigmoid function to the Y position of the vertices of a highly divided plane made in Blender.